This is the microphone.
Why is my hair doing this, Connor? Okay.
It looks fab!
Fib! Okay.
Okay.
What are we calling it? How to join a luxury cult.
You're going to introduce the video.
Yes, absolutely.
Welcome to you. My name's Dayle, and this is Dale's Addictions.
And hi, I'm Connor from the closet. Welcome to you. My name's Dayle, and this is Dale's Addiction with our special guest, Connor.
Woo! Hello, everyone. I'm Connor, and I'm from the YouTube channel The Closet. And Dayle and I are collaborating again.
We are.
Back by popular demand.
Popular.
Very popular. We don't know, but we're just doing it again.
We are indeed. And look, we've come up with, based off the back of our last collaboration, we went into a pretty quick version of what we like to call bullshit bingo. Mm-hmm. And we've decided to turn it into the luxury version. And with all of your suggestions in the comments from Connor's upload, we've put together a luxury bingo card, and we will be disseminating that in our Instagram feed. So if you don't follow us already on Instagram, please head over to The Closet by Connor and Dale's Addiction, and we'll have the handles here somewhere. They will magically appear. And we're going to unpack those bingo terms.
Unpack?
In this video, which we've called How to Join
a Luxury Cult.
The purpose of this video is to make fun of YouTube and
poke holes
make fun of what we do,
not
for
take
fun.
it so seriously, because let's be real, we're talking about luxury goods, it's funny,
and the fact that we get on here and broadcast ourselves and our collections and those sorts of things, it's funny. It would be,
it's like satirical, is that the word?
Satirical. So this is about,
we don't take it so seriously. We're taking the mickey out of ourselves.
Exactly.
Because it's supposed to be fun and funny and... So
it's not about, the things that we do. It's about the
we're
fact
being hypocrites. We do these things.
Exactly. We're being hypocrites. So we're taking the mickey out of ourselves. That's what we're doing. So we have attempted to put all of the terms into some form of sequence that makes sense. Because if you are going to join this luxury cult,
you don't want to just be doing it willy-nilly. There's
no room for willy-nilly.
There's a logical order of sequences and steps that you must follow.
There are actually 24.
24.
Well, some of them you might argue are not steps, but they're things that you need to know.
Yes. They're good tips.
They're very good tips. You'll be found out. So study these hard. So, Connor, it all starts out with the luxury journey.
The luxury journey. I loathe this term, journey.
So for those of you who are wanting to join the luxury cult, that want to know what the luxury journey is all about, what advice could we give?
Well, I think when you go on a normal journey, you like to know where you're going. I don't know what that would be. I'm terrible.
Start with the end in mind. It tends to be used more so by people who see different luxury houses as different levels of status, I think.
Yes.
And so you'll hear people talk about how they started with contemporary bags, which is not on the bingo. So you'll see people talk about that. Actually, I've got a video coming up where I share my journey plug.
There's that word again, journey. All right, new drinking game. Every time we say journey, you've got to take a sip.
Okay.
And you'll probably need a new liver.
Probably. But I'll be sharing my the steps that I took from spending $300 on a bag, which I thought was a lot of money at the time, to $8,000 on a bag. So I know. So I guess that's an example where you see people move from contemporary, and then they might say, then I moved into, say, Coach, and then I moved into Louis Vuitton, and then I moved to Chanel, Dior, and then Hermes at the top of the tree. Now, I don't prescribe to those rules because we all know that I'm not a huge fan of Hermes bags.
Or rules.
Or rules, exactly. It could change, but you are. Do you use Journey much?
No.
Well-
In terms of brand journeys, take a sip.
Yes. We keep saying it.
In terms of like a brand journey, I think it's more associated with Hermes because of the spend and to be offered a bag. But then I think overall, like a luxury journey is like started from the bottom, now we're here sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes. And we kind of don't agree with the whole concept of it depends on the house and how much you spend as to where you're at in the journey.
Yes.
Sip.
Sip. Oh, dear God.
We're more of the, buy what you like, buy what you love.
Do what you want.
Exactly.
And if it means you have to buy it like pre-loved versus journeying, I'm not taking a sip because I'll die. Journeying it, like, so be it.
Yeah. But if you're joining a cult, be familiar with that term. There's a brand journey and then there's a luxury journey.
Yes. Brand journey and luxury journey. Yes. Okay.
Totally different things.
Very different things. So get it right if you want to be in the cult.
Exactly. Once you've mapped out the journey, if you're that way inclined, your goals might be defined as a wish list.
Wish list. Have you heard that term? Wish list.
Right. Tell us what you consider a wish list to be, Connor.
Well, just when you thought you'd retired the term after 10 years old after Christmas, it is back in adult form. Wish list. I think wish list is I feel like there's two types of people that use it.
The people that need YouTube content twice a year, like me. That's what I use it for. And I never follow it. But I have one.
No, I feel like there's one wish list where one type of wish list where there's things that person is never ever going to get. Like you may as well put like owning Neptune on there.
Like the ultimate dream bag wish list. That was a tag that went out.
Yes. Oh,
I'm only doing one.
Must have missed that one.
I did that one.
But so then there's that where it's like, okay, we're just listening to someone talk about items they're never going to get because they're either not in the league of the person that is talking about it. It's just not attainable to anyone. It's, whatever. Then there's the second wish list where there's items that the person may actually be able to get, but they're like on the fence about. They're
saving for.
Yeah, like they're saving financially. They're saving for an occasion. They might see it in person and just not like it. So I think we fall more into that second category of wish list because when I did my wish list video, I've already bought like 2 of the items that I was talking about.
Yeah. See, that's kind of like what I do when I've had an unproductive day. I write the list after I've already done the things and then I tick it off.
I love that. I do that.
Does anyone else do that? Let us know in the comments.
I think a lot of people do that. Yeah, put it in the comments. We'd love to know what you do with your list writing.
But it is always good, I find, to do the video and kind of go, what was I thinking at the time?
Yes,
and then revisit it in 6 months and go, okay, how committed was I?
Yes, yeah.
So once you've got your wish list, you need to decide whether or not you're going for a classic, which is number 3, or a seasonal, number 4.
So are you a classic? Are you Chanel double flap?
Which is number 5.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
But classic bags are like your traditionals. What would be an example of a Louis Vuitton classic bag?
A Louis Vuitton classic, yeah. A Neverfull, a Speedy, a Near and Away.
Yeah. Chanel classic.
Obviously
the classics.
The classic
the
flap.
Classic flap.
The reissue, even though that's not called the classic flap, but that is the classic flap because that was the first one, so that's kind of ironic. That's called the reissue. 2:55.
Figure that one out, everyone.
I know.
And then Hermes, you got your Burke and your Kelly, your Constance.
Yeah, Dior, you'd have your Lady Dior.
Yeah.
I guess the saddlebag's kind of a classic. It's come back. Fendi would be the Peekaboo and the Baguette.
Yeah. So that's the kind of general, like the very well-known bags.
Repeated for many
that the houses may have originally had as their first bag. That's your classic.
Yes, and then your seasonal.
Which we love a good seasonal bag.
We do love a seasonal bag here.
Oh, side note.
Yes.
I actually read and I don't know if someone can fact check / verify, but somebody told me that seasonal Chanel bags use lower quality hardware, lower quality
What?
craftsmanship, if you would like.
Are you calling them discount?
No. This is don't come for me. I did not send for you. This is a commenter.
Okay.
And they said that I would never buy Chanel seasonal bags because lower quality hardware, blah blah blah. And I was thinking, I call BS. And I remember vaguely reading this somewhere else too from somebody else, but I didn't really pay much attention to it. But then when I saw that the same post again,
somebody carrying a trendy that said that.
Yeah. And I just thought, I don't believe that, because seasonal bags aren't cheaper, and in some instances they're more expensive than classic bags for something that's smaller.
Well, look at the Métier d'Art collection, where they're actually mostly handmade.
Yeah.
Or they're using unique or experimental techniques for bags that are more art than...
Yeah, exactly. So in your experience, because you own both,
yes,
have you found a difference?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No.
So if any of you, whoever's spreading that rumour, cut it out.
Stop it.
It's a lie.
You won't
because
get in.
I can't imagine Chanel being like, okay, well, we're going to make seasonal bags one standard, and we're going to make classic bags to another standard, and then charge more for, I just don't believe that.
No, I don't either.
So sorry to go on that tangent, but I just wanted to get that out there.
It's a good point. But so seasonal bags are bags that will just come out for a period of time.
Yeah.
But there can be classic bags in seasonal colours as well. So also important to know. So if you've got your heart set on a lilac Chanel classic flap from the 21K collection, you've only got that month or a first in best dress to get that colour, because it will never be repeated.
Are you projecting? I feel like you want this bag.
When I edit this video, I will take that advice on board. So yeah, and then your double flap, which is just, as you said,
nothing sorted. We're talking about a bag.
No. It's not sorted, but it's Chanel's version of a classic bag. It's the only house where they refer to it based on its construction rather than a model name.
Yes.
And if you ever buy a Chanel bag, every receipt that you have, and a lot of the bags on the website will say Chanel flap bag.
Yeah.
Small flap bag, medium flap bag.
Even all their wallets, it just says small leather good.
Yes.
And they put the serial number on the receipt.
So I think it's us that gives them the name rather than...
We've just made up all the names for all the Chanel bags.
Haven't we? Yeah.
Interesting. And what's other seasonal bags? I guess for Louis Vuitton, I guess you would say all of their, like that dreaded Cousin bag.
You'd
think I had shares in it because I mention it all the time.
Well, my Clapton is a seasonal...
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Hermès do seasonal colours? Do they do seasonal bags?
They do, but I wouldn't... Yeah, they do. But I don't... It's a bit hard. Hermès is very hard to compare to other brands because they don't follow... Like, this season we brought out this bag. I think they... Because normally when they do, like, the fashion show, where they, like, talk about a new collection or show off a new collection, they will have a bag there, but you won't see it for, like, a year or two.
Okay.
So I don't know why they do that, but
Another
it's a very...
reason I don't like them.
Yeah, so if you see something you like, they'll bring it out, but
it's hard to get.
Yeah, it's very strange. So I don't know. MS is very weird, but what do you think about Chanel? What do you think about classic versus seasonal?
Well, I think we all know my answer to that one, don't we? I prefer the lower quality seasonal bags. Yeah, no, I prefer seasonal because
it's a bit more unique, I think.
Yeah, and I think for me, buying anything, I want something that's fun, that speaks to me, that kind of brings something into my wardrobe. Yeah. And I don't think, for me, beige and black and tan and brown, I don't want that uniform.
Yeah.
And so it means that the seasonal bags work better for me most of the time. And I'm not prepared to shell out $12,000 on a medium classic flap in a seasonal colour that I can't wear crossbody, that is annoying to use because of that double flap.
And it's got the zip at the top that does nothing.
Yeah.
You can't even put anything
and
in
I get all the sentimentality, but I just don't think it's a value for money bag. I think it's, you know, it's all based on status and legacy status especially.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people justify buying such a bag because it's like classic Chanel, and I'm like, are you buying it because it's classic Chanel, or are you buying it because you actually love it?
Yeah.
And this is nothing to anyone with those bags. If you genuinely love that bag,
that's
you
right.
wear black and it matches it, well, that's, you know, go for gold. That's amazing. But I wouldn't buy a bag that is that expensive for the tick or the notch in the belt of having a...
Sorry, there's a dog snoring behind us.
Yeah, like I wouldn't buy such a bag for a notch in your belt of having a classic Chanel bag.
Well, I did that, and I also mentioned that in my video that I plugged earlier.
Yeah.
That I got sucked into doing that with a classic style because I thought it was a responsible decision to make, and in actual fact, it was irresponsible because
it was against what you would normally.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I'm personally more in the seasonal route, or if it's a brand like Fendi where their classic bags, they release them in like seasonal colours or seasonal patterns, I would more be down that route. But I don't like the idea, like even when I got my Speedy, I would never have just bought a plain Speedy. I only like it because it has like the monogram and it's different and it's like me and it's playful. So that's how I could justify that. I just wouldn't, you know, have...
Well, I bought my Speedy in
white epi leather. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. But that was because I'd seen a lot of fake monogram bags.
Yeah, that was the Bali era.
It was
Chappelle Corby era.
Okay. Speaking of which, should we do our bag of the day?
Oh my God,
because we both carried a bag.
Let me go get it.
Funnily enough, we are both carrying seasonal bags today.
So this is my Louis Vuitton outdoor messenger bag in the seasonal colour.
Yeah, I guess they go close up so see that detail.
Where is it?
Beautiful.
So it is tiger grey leather trim with canvas, like the monogram canvas.
It really is stunning in person.
And it's like it's a bum bag, but I wear it either like chest like this, or you can just hold it, and then it's just got like a nylon thingy-mabobby with a...
But look at that clasp. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's got like a nice like metal clasp thing, and then the back is more of the monogram. But yeah, it's such a different...
It's really striking.
And I think a lot of people, when they see monogram in, you know, not the... even reverse monogram, but when they see it in like something like this, it's so playful, and they're like, oh, what is that? That's... You know, so yeah, it's a bit different, but yeah.
No, I was like, show me that bag. I didn't even say hello.
Which is totally acceptable in the cult.
Exactly, in the cult, you know, you have your priorities. And I was also, because today's kind of one of our last winter days here, and so I thought I would take this Franken bag out, which is my first ever Chanel purchase. It's lamb, tweed, stitch, and it's... You know, it's ugly cool. It's grungy. It's, yeah, and I thought, well, you're not going to get a spin now for another few months, maybe 8 or 9 months. So, yeah, it's a pretty cool bag. Again, Chanel seasonal bag.
It's so pretty. I love it. Yeah, I like that. I like the play on the classics. I feel like it's what it's all about, like expressing, you know.
And I think that's where you see whoever's the creative director of the house at the time. Yeah. That's where you see their real design personality come through, because they've got to honour the legacy and the tradition and the heritage, but they also bring something unique. So,
and it's very telling of the time too.
Yeah, true.
And it's always good to look back, especially with like the multicolour. What's the... Oh, I can never remember.
Murakami?
Yeah, Murakami. I like when I see the white multicolour Louis Vuitton bags, I think Jessica Simpson in Newlyweds.
You don't think $2 knock shop?
No, I think like Jessica Simpson in Newlyweds, because that was that era. It was like all of those, you know, that kind of celebrities in that early 2000s where it was like the it bag, and it was just such a good time.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of like, you know, when you'd go and buy CDs and, you know, there was no like MP3 players or iPods or any of that. It was like Walkmans-ish or coming into iPods. But yeah, it was a simpler time.
Well, I've just started watching Tom Cruise on TikTok. He's just, and Stella, that's your fault if you're watching. And he did a TikTok video that he was old school, and he had this big book of CDs.
Oh my god!
He's like, he's so old school. He has the big CD book. I'm like, yeah, that reminded me. My husband's not a fan of my multicolour bag. He thinks it looks like it comes from a $2 knock shop.
As you would have heard in your previous video.
Yes, again, plugging a previous video. And a lot of you agreed with him. And look, I totally get it, but whose side are you on?
Yeah, if only we could find out who subscribed, because we'd remove you. in the cult, we need supporters. You've got to work with us.
I quite like the disagreement. I think people are too polite.
Yeah, I feel like...
I'm like, as long as you're focused on the thing, not the person.
Yeah.
If people are going to troll you about things you can't change as a person, that's not on. But if you've, not a fan of the item, which is coming up, people. If you're not a fan of the thing... and I invited people to in my last video, just say, well, what in my collection aren't you a fan of, or don't you like? I think that's the point of a conversation, not to nod politely and go, oh
really nice.
Congratulations, I really love it.
All right, what's next?
Okay, next we have hardware.
Hardware. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, hardware, or HW as it's commonly abbreviated, HUA, is hardware of the
And when you're thinking about hardware, we're not thinking about the hardware store where you buy hammers and other such tidbits.
But we're talking about this. The actual metal part,
components.
Or the hard part, hence the name of the bag.
The hardware.
So, what types of hardware are there, Dayle?
Well, let's start with SHW.
SHW, or...
silver hardware.
Silver hardware, or palladium hardware, as it's commonly dubbed.
Absolutely. Then we've got this, which is shiny ruthenium hardware.
And how would you describe shiny ruthenium hardware, Dayle, with a fine-tooth comb?
Well, let's say it's like gunmetal.
Gunmetal.
Yes, and then you've got your aged ruthenium hardware.
Yes, which is more of like a aged ruthenium hardware.
It looks like it's been dragged over a road for many, many years and then put on a bag. But we love it because
like
it's
matte,
got character.
Yeah, it's character.
It's character.
Very telling of its carrier.
And then we need to go to the golds. So we've got the GHW.
GHW. Gold hardware.
And then we've got your aged
gold hardware.
Brushed.
And / or antique gold hardware.
True.
As it's commonly dubbed.
Yes.
Depending on the reporter.
Champagne gold
hardware, which as the name suggests is champagne coloured.
Rose gold hardware.
Rose gold hardware, which has got a slight pinky hue, but not too pink.
Yeah, it's like...
So depending if you have cataracts or not, it can...
look the same.
It can look like champagne hardware.
Yes.
Champagne gold hardware.
That's everything,
gold,
isn't it?
And then...
Well, then you've got your black on black, which is any matte kind of hardware that matches the colour of the leather of the bag itself.
And we call that So Black.
We call it So Black, yes.
Because it is so black that it is all black. Clever name. You did not hear it here first. It was lots of other people talked about it. But if you're ever wondering where the name So Black came from, it is probably because the bag is all black.
Yeah. As part of your developing your wish list, things that you need to consider are, what colour hardware do you want? Now, some people are of the opinion that you should get hardware that matches your overwhelming jewellery collection.
Yep.
Others, like myself today, and you normally, are mixing metals. This is not on the list, but that's another thing, which just means...
That's a whole nother video, mixing metals.
You're not retentive enough that everything has to match.
Yeah.
And it really does a number on people that are. And yes, it really does a number on people who do like things to match. And if you are triggered at the moment, please start taking deep breaths.
Yeah. Don't write in the comments. Think before you write.
Yes. Be nice. Be objective.
Yeah. I personally think that I think of the hardware second, and I think I'm a big believer in the colour, the style of the bag dictates the hardware. Because I know people who are diehard gold fans, and they might not necessarily wear gold jewellery, but they're just diehard gold fans because that's just their preference. But then they buy a bag and the colour just does not match the hardware. And I know you're very flexible. Like, you will pick a bag if you like the bag, and if the hardware works out, then it works out.
Yes, and I also like hardware to be a feature of bags. So if a bag's got some kind of unique closure mechanism, I'm like, that just sucks me right in. I'm just, I love this, because there's a novelty around using the bag. So, yeah.
I love that.
Well, that was a lot on hardware.
That was a lot on hardware. But, yeah, I think if the bag looks great, buy it. If all your bags are gold hardware, and then the particular bag that you love is in that palladium hardware or silver hardware, I think that just get it, because...
Yeah, and I think just while we're on this topic too, there is a narrative in the luxury community which is not part of the bingo scenario either, but that gold is more dressy and palladium or silver is less dressy. I'm like, no, that's not the case.
It might have been the case in the 1920s when they only had gold, but that is not the case now. I feel like if you're letting your bag dictate if you're letting your bag's hardware dictate what is dressy and not dressy, you're dressing badly.
Yeah, well, it's a style thing, isn't it? It's like, know your own style and know that whatever you've put together, the bag ultimately is an accessory. Yeah. And if it works, it works. It's not going to go, oh, you came to my wedding, and you wore silver hardware on your bag. I did say that it was a formal event and the dress code was formal. Therefore, I require at least rose gold hardware. Anything with gold and hardware in the title. No.
That kind of person also likes the earrings and the bracelets and the belt and the, your fillings all to be gold. Everything has to match. You can't, have... Ugh.
Maybe we should pull up stumps here for part 1.
Yeah.
And
numero uno.
Connor's got this thing with speaking multiple languages.
No, the same language. It's just Spanish.
So this is the end of part 1. So thank you so much for joining us. Remember, if you do want to join a luxury cult, you need to stick around for part 2, because we're just getting started.
Exactly.
There are 24 items on our luxury bingo board, and you need to get through all of them to get into the cult.
Exactly. And like any good cult, you must subscribe. So make sure you subscribe to Dayle's channel.
Absolutely.
Down there, it's the red thing.
And then while you're there, hit the bell so that you're notified.
Spirit fingers onto my channel.
Exactly. Then go to the description, click the link to Connor's video after you've just shared some of your commentary.
Exactly.
This is how the YouTube algorithm works.
Oh, give it the thumbs up too, because that also helps it.
We love a thumbs up.
We love a good thumbs up.
Have you got all that?
Have you got all that?
Yep, just rewind and then replay.
So let's go into part 2 on my channel.
Let's go into part 2. See you later. Bye.